I'll let her. Oh, okay, thank you. All right. So it's Dre Tattoo Squid Podcast, and we're here with Life Paranormal with V. How are you doing, V? Or you want to just be V or Vanessa
Yeah,
or what?
good. It's all good.
Yeah. So we just do V.
Yeah.
Kind of like the TV show, but less less reptile,
Yeah.
But yeah, so can you let everybody know what is Life Paranormal with V? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a paranormal podcast. It's really about the paranormal and unexplained and about the people who've experienced it. I really like to focus on the human experience with the paranormal, so how it's affected people and how they've coped. I love, scary stories, everything about, Halloween, anything spooky. That's just how I've always been. But I've also had a lot of experience myself. Growing up all my life, and it doesn't seem to stop, but that's just how it is when you're a medium. But yeah, it's the show. I love it. I have a lot of guest hosts that come on. We talk about anything and everything, so it's not just specifically hauntings and ghosts. It's pretty yeah, we get into like demonology and cryptids and UFOs and stuff, so it's great.
Yeah.
It's a great.
I know. I saw it. I was like, Life Paranormal. I'm like, oh, because I had some kind of. I don't even know if it is paranormal. Because like I usually chalk it up to like lack of sleep or drunken disorderly or just my imagination run wild. Because I mean, I like horror movies. And
Yeah.
there was like a saying somebody put up, it's like, oh, anybody that can watch like horror movies like all day every day whatever and then sleep like nobody's business, are like psychotic. And I'm like, put me in a cycle ward.
Well, yeah, I go too. I can do
Yeah.
that right before bed too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody does it. I think you just be able to like I was telling somebody about this. We call that, like dream wise, I can, it's all about control. So if you can be able to control your dreams, because, when you watch G.I. Joe as a kid, yeah, you kind of learn some shit,
Yeah.
so even though they make fun of it, but
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, if he can control his dreams, I can do the same thing. And pretty much I've been pretty good. Anything that's like scary part of whatever life, I make it into a positive somewhat, but
That's awesome.
yeah, I try. But then half the time my girlfriend's like, you're always waking up in a sweat. I'm like, it's hot in here. I don't want to make it look like I'm dreaming or anything, but
Do you,
yeah.
do you
What's
remember
that?
them?
What's that?
Do you remember your
Every once in a while. It's like when the really weird stuff come around, then I know. But then when I wake up and I, because I go to work, I wake up at like 5:30, so I can't just like wake up and then tell her, and then having the cause of like stuff thrown at me, like, stop waking me up,
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got like that kind of dreams, and it tends to get like weird sometimes. I mean, I like, I was like, one time I was sleeping, I wake up and like zombies are running around the bed, and literally like running, not that slow walking, like the Living Dead show or whatever.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they just stop, and then they look at me, and then they're like, and then they walk away, and I'm like, the fuck is that? And and then I wake up and I'm like in the supermarket. Maybe I'm hungry. I don't know. Maybe I'm,
You're hungry. Gotta go eat before you turn into a zombie.
Yeah, I know. He's like, listen, you gotta eat something, and or play some heavy metal music or some shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, that's satanic. I'm like, well, it is. Let's do it. But and I want to just get your thoughts on something. Now you do this the Life Paranormal, and being a medium. Like myself, I don't know. Like I said, I do have happenings happen, and there's a friend of mine that she is I don't know if she said she's a medium or she said she was something else. But she could tell that there's somebody like standing next to me. Because when I was married and my wife passed away from cancer. So
Mm,
after that, it was like a year after I think I moved back to my hometown, and uh that's when me and this girl like met up, and I know her from high school, but I didn't know she was had like abilities, you would say. And she's like, oh, she's like right next to you, but you can't see the face, but she's there. And I'm like,
yeah.
oh, okay, all right. But my question would be like, I seen this like, I mean, I know shows are shows and they always make it up and shit like that, like Supernatural and
Yeah.
whatnot. But when somebody like say is buried and all that, does their spirit or their essence, I guess, um, can they be able to follow you around? Yet if they were what's the word I'm looking for? When you their ashes cremated.
Cremated.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
so if they're cremated, would they be able to still, be around or something?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what's
Well,
your thought?
I think it's just your openness and willingness to understand the spirit world. We can. Some people think, after we're gone, we cease to exist. Or it's ashes to ashes. But for me, I didn't ask to have this gift. Since I was like 3.5, 4 years old, I've seen things and felt things that and that's what my show is about. No young kid wants to be tormented and see certain things. Things that you can't even fight against because it's just hard. We don't know what we're up against when you do interact with the spirit world. There's really lovely situations, and that part I do enjoy. Responding with or corresponding to my ancestors and my loved ones who have passed, because they're always around. I know that the afterlife, there's it's infinite. Time doesn't exist there,
Mhm.
so they can be around us whenever they want. Um, Usually when I connect with a loved one of somebody's, um, it's their message is always, just continue to live your life, just be happy.
Yeah.
Um, it's like a blink of an eye up there.
Mm.
Once they get up there, it's like we're down here and we're wasting away years and years. We grieve, we get angry. A lot of us deal with things differently. And then
Mm.
at the blink of an eye, our life is gone. So I
Mm.
think that's just how it is it's really the openness and willingness to see things differently.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, because that's what everybody, like you said, we call everybody deals a different way. Either they're drinking or they do something else or this, and mine was more like, hey, I want to get tattooed. So
I love it.
it's a therapy.
Yeah, it
Um,
is.
Well, like I said to this other guy, we call it. I'm like, my tattooers even told me I had to get like an intervention because every day that I didn't go to work, I'd be in the shop going like, I got spots.
Yeah.
Let's go. I guess just to get my mind off of things, whatever. But
Yeah.
I have. There was like a couple of instances. um, like one would be that I'm sitting in my chair, like this kind of chair, like this. I'm sitting there. I drank like maybe a half a case of beer and whatever, and I'm watching TV, and I fell asleep a little bit. But then I noticed like the apartment I was living in, it was like some kind of like the porch you can be able to get onto. You can hear the
Hmm.
footsteps if you want, and see
Hmm.
the people coming up. But for some reason, I sort of like the bolt lock, and it was like making that move, like wiggle, like someone's trying
Yeah.
to get in.
Yeah.
And then I looked and I jumped, and I'm like 6'2", so I'm like doing 2 footsteps, and then I'm at the door. And then all of a sudden I go like that, and then it's like I said, you can hear footsteps if there was like a real person walking up the thing. But if they were, you can hear the footsteps run or whatever. But at that point, I didn't hear nothing, so I didn't know how quick that person can go. But maybe it's my imagination, you know.
Was it at
Um,
the house? Is it at the place where you're at right now?
No, 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 no. We called this is like maybe a couple of years ago when I was in Pennsylvania. So the place was like a half double house, and one half was like a family has the both levels, and then I had
Oh,
one,
okay.
you know. So I mean, it could be the house. I don't know. But also we called it was a girl that I had like relations when I was there, and she stayed over, and then she for some reason I didn't notice until a friend of hers, which is a friend of mine, told me like, yeah, she wanted to tell you, but she don't want you to think she was crazy that somebody whispered in her ear like get out, and
Oh, creepy.
I'm like,
That's awesome.
I'm like, okay, because I did have like certain kind of things happen, but you can't like, even when I'm driving, like when I bought a new car and I'm driving to like the mall, I think it was, and like when we're kids and you're driving with your parents and then you'll sit in the back seat, but then you always like you're reading like say the comics or whatever, and then you have your knees pressed up on the driver's seat or the
Yeah.
passenger
Hmm.
seat, and then the driver can feel the knees or whatever,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
so that's what I felt, but I had nobody in the car with me. I'm
Oh,
driving and I feel like something,
it's pushing.
pushing, but
Oh,
pressing their knees like
oh my God.
like a kid or something,
Hmm.
and I'm like, what the, because I'm like trying to uh be like it's like that movie or something, like you're looking in the rearview mirror and then that person is probably sitting right there or
It's right.
something,
Yeah. Yeah.
but and then I turned and I'm like, I'm like, what the fuck, and it just shook me for like
Here.
a good minute or something because I was still driving at the time, and I'm like,
Ooh.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I'm like, but even
Fucking
to this
scary.
day, yeah, it's like, I have like some kind of like, I'm not saying I have a sense of stuff, but it's like, okay,
But
something's
you
going on.
do. You do.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you do. I think I feel you. I really do sense you, and I really think you do.
yeah.
I was picking up on a few things when you were talking.
Oh,
So,
okay. Yeah, it's
yep.
like, hopefully it's good, not bad, but both. I don't know.
It's really good. It's really good. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
just
really good stuff.
yeah, because I'm like the because maybe the reason why I like horror movies and dressing up for Halloween and all that. I mean, it's just like natural to me or something. I don't know. But I tried, and I was like, a friend of mine's like, "Oh, go to one of these, things." I'm like, I'm not gonna pay money. It's like one of the fortune teller kind of, whatever. So you
Yeah,
don't know who to trust if it is or not. I don't know.
it's hard. I
But
think that's why, like, I think for me, I started doing that finally almost 7 years ago. Like, after my first son was born, I
yeah,
really was just like, I have this gift. I'm gonna use it because something told me, like, I just have this feeling, my kids are also gonna be sensitives like me. So I
mhm,
was like, I need to start figuring out how to really harness this and protect myself. And I started doing, readings here and there. And I never charge anybody. It's all by, donation. I feel really slimy when I do that. There's other people who do that, and I'm not putting them down. I'm not gonna start anything right now.
yeah.
Everybody's so goddamn sensitive for everything these days. But I do it just because I feel like it's for the common good. It's for people, and a lot of people need to know these things. I don't tell people their futures. I don't call myself, a psychic. I'm not going to tell you how it is. I really am more like I'm giving you advice. I'm giving
Mhm,
you confirmation. I do have a lot of loved ones who want to talk to their, who want to heal,
mhm,
and I do a lot of other stuff, but it's mostly like now, getting to talk to you. I was picking up on a lot of stuff um with you. I was just I'm also an empath, so I can feel.
yeah.
So I can feel stuff. I can feel your emotions. I can feel what you're thinking too. Um I'm clairaudient and clairvoyant, so that means I can hear and then see, so I can see the future, and I can also see the past too. So
Yeah.
I'm a weirdo.
Hey, join the club. Yeah, everybody's saying like, "Oh, what the hell you got?" You know, my dad was saying like, it's like I get these different kind of tattoos, and he goes, what does it mean?" I'm like, "It doesn't matter. You know, I like it. You know, it's not like I'm gonna get it taken off or whatever. You know, but
Yeah.
let alone he gets tattooed at like 72. You know, and I'm like, look at you. You know, you're getting tattooed at 72. Nobody does that.
Your
You know."
pops is cool.
Yeah, yeah, he's cool. You know, he's a stubborn mule, but he's good. You know, he'll watch everybody's back, and he won't even admit it, but that's what he'll do. Um, so Dad, I love you. Yeah, but I know he's not gonna listen to this because you know he's old school. He doesn't even like phone lines. He likes the flip phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, you know, go and use the thing. You can get on the internet and everything else. You can watch Naked and Afraid, and you know,
Yeah.
so. All right, so we were talking about I, I want to get your thoughts on something else, but that could be down the line. You know, let's do something fun like poltergeist, or
Yeah.
if you want, you know, poltergeist. Um,
Let's talk culture.
and if nobody doesn't know what we're talking about, it's like, you know, poltergeist was like misspelled by accident.
Yeah.
So on my part, let's just say so.
Oh no, what did that? No, I think I was the one who misspelled it, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, but I don't want to like, you know, put the blame on you on that one. So
No, that was no, that was funny. That was
that was funny though, because I was like, oh, let me go bring it up. My girlfriend's like, no, don't make fun of her. I'm like, I'm not. It's just like,
why. No, I love it. That's badass. I love it. Make fun of me. I love it. I'm telling you.
yeah, no, I know. I said to her, I'm like, no, she's like, she seems like the type of girl that can take a joke and all that stuff.
Oh my
Uh,
god.
but Poltergeist. I even wrote down notes when I was watching it, and I'm like, just not really like about the movie, but I mean I know about the movie. I've seen it so many times, but just like the people who plays what, and you know the stuff that nobody really like looks at. You know, like I mean we don't, but it's pretty cool actually. You know, like Steven Spielberg, he wrote it.
Yeah.
There's the director Toby Hooper, which I don't really know anything about him, but he's the one that directed it. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I thought it was gonna be like a bigger name, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got Heather O'Rourke, which, as we were talking about before, that possibly it was cancer that she passed away from at like a way early age.
Yeah,
Uh,
very.
you know, and then she did, I think, was it like part one, part two, or I think all
Yeah,
three.
yeah, she did 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, one, two, and
Yeah.
three. And
And you
who's
can tell her face starts to change because I think she was going through like I think radiation or something and her face started to change. It was
yeah,
sad.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then you know, because even like and like I was telling you before, you know, like even to this day, if she didn't have cancer and like you know knowledge of everything now that they could
Yeah.
backtrack it from before,
Yeah.
she would have been probably be the biggest horror icon, you know, next to
Yeah.
Elvira, next to Freddy Krueger, you know, and whatnot. And then Craig T. Nelson plays the dad.
Mhm.
Joe Beth Williams plays the mom, and then they get the brother and sister, Dominique and Oliver, and then the one person that really ties this together is the little lady. You
The
know,
little lady.
I'm going to say little lady. I'm not going to say midget. I'm not going to no, say anything bad about it. You know,
She's
Tangier.
short.
Yeah,
She's
very
little.
short. Yeah,
Short.
very short. You know, it's like
Yeah.
she's like Dr. Ruth kind of short. You know, you know, Tangia, but her real name is
Yeah, yeah.
Zelda Rubinstein. Um,
Mhm.
and you know, the movie had like was nominated like 3 Oscars and won like 4, and had like 7 nominations, like total of like I mean like 10. Um, you know, but I didn't, you know, but what do you like more about Poltergeist? You know, what was the one thing about
I think it's how relatable it was for me. I
yeah,
mean, I related to relate to Carol Ann a lot. Because I was that little girl who started seeing stuff like that.
yeah,
I think if you would have started my podcast from the beginning, like, to anyone who's watching, if you start my podcast from the beginning, you'll hear about some of the things I've experienced, and they weren't really good.
Yeah.
So feeling that terror and seeing those things, I really related to her, and to, it was just a really good movie. The writing was brilliant. The terror that you get to feel,
Yeah.
when it's great. I remember the worst scene that used to get me was when the guy goes into the bathroom and his cheek just starts to, like,
Oh yeah.
crazy. That
Oh
was cool.
yeah. I know. I mean, believe me,
So,
if I was watching it with my girlfriend, she'd be like, "Why are you smiling?" I'm like, "I'm not really smiling. It's just like it's great
it's
cinematography. It's very,
yeah, it's really cool.
because I mean, when
They
there was a
the freaking steak starts to move across the counter. It's like
yeah,
weird.
I know, and the chair just and
Yeah, and that's, I think, exciting too. Like in the beginning of the movie, when the chairs start to move and you get excited. Like there's things like that I went through like that too. Like you get excited and everything too. So
yeah,
it's yeah, it's cool.
I know. I was like, and when I was watching it, I remember like the whole doll thing, like the puppet, and they always made fun of it with the scary movie, and
Yeah,
but I mean, there's a lot of people. I mean, honestly, we call it, my girlfriend and a lot of other people, even women, more likely are don't like dolls. They like them when they were kids, but also now it's just like it's creepy. You know.
I'm just smiling because yeah, one of my episodes is about the haunted dolls that I used to have when I was
Oh,
small. Yeah, it's creepy. It, no, I actually, they were really haunted. They would move, and I would find them in different positions in the morning.
yeah.
It was creepy. It was really
Yeah.
creepy. Had to give them away. I think the day after, I made my dad sleep in there with me. I was just like, you don't believe me, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
He didn't say a word. Just the next day they were gone. When I came back from school, my dad, he just threw them away. He just I think that meant for me that he saw something.
Yeah.
Um yeah, and I know he did. It was creepy. It was really creepy. It was one of those, they were porcelain dolls. So, I know a lot of other people who still have haunted dolls.
Yeah.
So, oops, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually, you were just talking about porcelain dolls, and there's a friend of mine who makes like horror props, and
Ooh.
yeah, and he makes like some lot of creepy stuff and all that, because I did he worked in a flea market, and
Mhm.
so the person that ran the flea market, I know the people in there for like 4 or 5 years or whatever, 6 years, and she came up to me. She goes, "You like scary stuff, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So then it's like, "Well, can you put together like a haunted attraction?" I'm like, so I figured they were gonna like, chip in, but my friends did, but half the people in there didn't. But anyway, so I kind of got all this shit together, and then um my friend that makes the horror props, he actually made this like box with a woman inside, dismembered head in the box, all bloody, everything else, and all that. And then the box closes and you can open it up. And I'm like, that would be cool. He goes, "Yeah, well, this is, you can use this for your attraction thing." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." Did that. And and then I used it, and it was like going on for like the month of October, obviously. And then when it was all done, I'm like, I was ready to hand it back to him. And I'm like, "Thanks a lot." He goes, "No, no, that's yours." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. I gotta find out where I'm gonna fucking put this now." But now it's in the garage because
That's
um
like a Halloween, decoration.
yeah, but I mean, but there is one where he had a porcelain doll, and it had like he painted the eyes like very dark, and it's like demonic looking, and that doll is like in the garage as we speak, because my girlfriend would not want it
No,
inside.
no,
Yeah.
I know that a lot of bad things can attach themselves to,
Yeah.
they use them as it's an extension of themselves, so but they use them for bad. It's very scary. I've had to deal with that with other of my, some of my clients who have told me stories about their stuff. It's creepy,
Yeah.
mirrors, especially. I hate mirrors. I hate
Yeah, I
mirrors.
don't really have okay, but don't look behind me. But anyway, uh you know, I'll try not to go like that. Okay.
I know,
And,
right?
but most of the stuff I have it like decked out. I mean, I have like a Frankenstein, like not a well, you can say like a statue, but you can move it like to a shrunken state, and then you can put it, for like storage
Oh,
wise.
okay. Like it's adjustable.
Yes, yeah. So like, well, obviously I named him Frankie. And well, my landlady at the time did not like him because I had him in the kitchen, just stand there in the corner, and
Oh,
just like it was just cool.
that's
It's like,
awesome.
oh,
Yeah.
it's just like you have him sit there, and she opened up the door and she goes, "What the fuck is that?" I'm like, "That's Frankie."
That's
She goes, "Okay."
awesome.
And then she's talking to me,
That is
but
so cool.
she's looking at him, the whole time she's talking to me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
he's not gonna do anything. He's just standing there. That was it.
Yeah.
And so I brought him in, and when I moved in with my girlfriend, I asked her, and she's seen Frankie, so she wasn't really perturbed with Frankie. It's like, all right, we'll find a
Yeah.
space, and he could be in that space. Then which we did, but then we started accumulating more stuff, not horror wise, but just for the apartment itself. And she goes, "I hate to say it, but we're going to put Frankie in the garage." And I'm like, "Oh shit, he's going to be upset." But I usually
Yeah.
like dress them, and then she tried dressing them like for Easter, putting bunnies on them and everything else. And I'm like, "What are you putting bunnies on? It's Frankenstein. You don't put bunnies on Frankenstein." I'm like, "The
That's
hell?"
funny.
But
That's cute, man. That's cute.
yeah, but like I said, I had like all different stuff. So I mean, I was obviously, if we ever have like a live, like one-on-one like discussion, and you probably, I don't know, I don't know what it would entail. Like, could I have it in the garage? And that's where I do my video podcast at times. I mean, you'll probably see it on YouTube. Like when you look at my YouTube, certain we call it things like unboxings of Loot
Yeah.
Crate, and you'll
Yeah.
see it like in the background here and there. So and
Yeah.
half the time you'll see like Frankie wearing like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Oh,
uh
that's badass.
what do they call them, the butcher gowns.
Like the apron?
Yeah, the apron.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
he's
okay.
wearing the apron, and the whole nine.
That's awesome. That is so
So
cool.
yeah, I mean that's why most of the attraction stuff I just keep like in the thing, and got shelving. So every time I get a Loot Crate stuff, I put it in there, and like there's like a section for each one, and so
Mm-hmm.
it's all horror stuff. So yeah, it's like,
So cool.
yeah,
That's awesome.
I think
My
that
hus-
way too. I'm like, this is awesome. Having kids come out, "Hey, look at this," and then
yeah,
then I'll go and scare people, but
my my kids, we love Halloween here. It's a huge deal. We go all out. We love
I tried doing. I did that once. I went all out. I don't usually. I just wear like a mask sometimes.
Yeah.
And there's this one where, I mean, do you get dressed up? Dressed up? I mean, what's your
Yeah.
favorite thing to go
Every
and dress up as?
every year is different. Like last year I actually matched with my kids. So I was Jessie the cow from Toy Story, and one of my
Okay.
kids was Woody, and the other Buzz Lightyear. So that was cool. It was cool. It was
Oh,
really
okay. Yeah. I was like, I tried to do there's like certain stuff. I'm like, okay, I want to try doing this, like Freddy or this. I dressed up like my the security guard at my work and all that, because we both had the same like long sleeve tattoos and all that. And I found a mask that looked like an old man mask. I put it on me. I'm like, listen, I'm going to sit by you, and then it's Halloween, so I'm going to dress like you. And then I had the security. He has a shirt that says security on it, and then he wears suspenders. So I called him like like the tattooed Santa, because he had this long, huge beard too. And
That's,
so I wore the mask and I sit there, and all of a sudden they're like, "What the fuck is this? There's two of you." And then he would give the finger to everybody that walks by, and we just both give away the finger. The boss didn't give a shit. He thought it was funny as hell. But
I I want to dress up scary, but I know my kids will get scared, so
oh,
you
okay, yeah.
know, a little bit till they're older.
Yeah, maybe when they're a little bit like to the point where they're going to be dressing up a certain time of, you never
No,
know.
I know they will.
But I did that same day, actually, I had a costume I was wearing when I went out with my niece and nephews. And I always had some reactions to that. It was basically the like the cape kind of thing, like a Dracula kind of cape with the scarf, the
Okay.
ascot or whatever, and
Hmm.
the white suit thing. And then I had like the top hat with the hair coming down. And I had like a skull mask, a cane, which thanks to my friend
Oh,
that
cool.
but then I also had, and everybody hated clowns. I mean, they still do, but
I
um,
love clowns.
well, no, I'm just saying for like certain other people like that I know,
Yeah, yeah.
they don't like clowns. So I figured, okay, why don't I just, I had the whole Halloween prop of, there's like a chain and it's attached to the clown's face, but then half the face is coming off. So
Oh,
I'm walking
cool.
around with that and a cane, and
That's
I
awesome.
start walking around, and every kid just looked at me, and I looked back at them like that, and then they just went behind their mom's leg, or they were just like, and one kid ran out into the street and almost got hit by a car. My sister-in-law was like, uh thanks a lot, Andre. And I'm like, I didn't get hit. I didn't think they're gonna run out there, and that was it.
Yeah,
But
that's scary. Funny.
it was scary. But then I go to work and I got like a $50 gift card, for being like the scary person, which I wasn't going to do. And somebody that was against Halloween in the beginning kind of convinced me to go and do it. I'm like, all right, whatever. Yeah. But
That's awesome.
so poltergeist, like I said, we going back and forth on this.
That's fine.
So you got your moment that you didn't that always gets you, and the moment that got me, what was the moment now? I gotta retract myself because I saw it last night. That's what happens when you watch something the night before and doesn't really come back to you in spurts. We call it where basically they get sucked in there. She gets sucked in through the closet.
Yeah, it's like a vortex or something.
Yeah, and it's just that room specifically. I know it's because of her, that they're drawn to her mostly,
Yeah,
but
they are.
it's just like that whole like area, because even some people say you go into like a certain room, it's colder than everything else,
Yes.
or hotter. Yeah.
Yeah, I've experienced that.
Yeah. And and I never, well, I mean, I gonna say we call it, I don't really think I experienced it, but when I lived in the house I was telling, not the apartment but the house before, and we found out when we started living there, we called it like, oh yeah, that's where so and so passed away, in that room over there, and I didn't really pay no mind to it. I'm like, all right, whatever, yeah, it is what it is. But apparently that room was like the hottest room out of the whole house. Either
Yeah.
either and when it's summer out, the sun sets on that one room, or when it's cold out, that room is always hot. So, but
You know,
funny story.
you- I just feel with you. I'm sorry for interrupting you,
No,
but
no, 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 that's fine.
I feel that you have really good like control of it. I think if you opened yourself up even just a little bit,
Yeah,
you would be, because you're really it sounds like something right now or all the other times have just try to get your attention,
yeah,
but you're kind of shut it down and you're like, nah, nah, nah. But, and that's good, actually. That's really good to put boundaries, on spirit world. That's what I do too.
yeah,
And strong minded and strong willed, and but I think that, yeah, if you open it up just a little bit, Not that it would be a bad thing,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think you're very receptive to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, because there was a point where my friend was helping move, and we were moving like this one mattress from the main bedroom, and the spare bedroom is what I was just talking about. We call it that where it's like so hot, and we were moving this mattress, and my friend was helping me out, and I'm down below holding the mattress, and he's like on top. It just sounds like a horror movie, actually. It does, like, because he lost his grip. That's what he told me. He
Hmm.
lost his grip and all that. And I'm like, okay, and then it wasn't really like a heavy mattress, but it just with the angle of it. And then we went to work like the next day, and I'm like, oh, dude, thanks a lot for helping me out. I think I have like a little hole in there from the mattress thing. He goes, yeah, speaking about that, and I'm like, what, and he goes, when I came around to the thing to help you bring it down, he goes, I can hear somebody saying, get out now, to him. And I'm like, okay, all right. And I'm like, well, that kind of like, comes
Yeah.
into mind from when they told me that the person died. You go, why don't you say something? I'm like, honestly, nobody else has said shit about it. I had in-laws sleep in that same room. I slept in that same room. My wife at the time, she slept in that room. Everybody, nobody didn't say shit until he walked past. And that was somewhat said. So I don't know. But maybe it is. We called that guy, or it could be my wife that's like hanging around. I don't know. See what happens. But it is what else? So what type of music does Life Paranormal V listen to?
Oh my God, everything. Um, I,
What you say, like, oh shit, oh, that's a lie.
everything. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but Kiss,
I saw that. I was like, nice. Yeah.
rock, metal. I mean, you could hear me jam into some like blues, oldies. I mean, I grew up with everything and anything.
Yeah.
Because but we're talking about like West Coast music, and I love just everything, to be honest with you. I think the kind of music that gets me feeling calm actually is like, my favorite artists, back in the day that I love Linkin Park.
Oh yeah.
Love Korn. I love Korn.
Yeah.
I love,
The
you
band,
know,
not the vegetable, the band. Yeah.
that too. Both.
Okay, both of
But
them. Okay, well, we figured that one out. Okay, both. She likes both.
yeah, I mean, when I was doing my makeup right now, when I told you, I was like, hold up, let me do my makeup. I turned on some Psychosocial from Slipknot. So I mean, that's just me. I listen.
Yeah. Yeah, I listen to that like all the time. But then there is times where I'll put on because I was like an 80s kid.
Yeah. Oh, I love the. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's like even like it didn't matter. We called it like hair metal. I mean, I would listen to that like constantly. Yeah, but then there was like stuff like expose. There was like rap I'll listen to, and this and that. Whatever had like a beat. I would listen to.
Yeah.
And like my car, no, well, not the car itself, but I mean, like when I put my Spotify, where
Yeah.
you can find my podcast. No, anyway, so and you can find her podcast on Spotify as well. And so basically, I've been listening like everything from King Diamond to
Sweet.
Slipknot to Metallica to 80s, whatever, like even bands that
Yes.
nobody didn't
Yes.
even remember, like Poison and
Oh no, no. I remember going. Like, my dad had tapes, little tapes,
yeah,
and I used to love to open them and look through them because it would have the lyrics and stuff.
yeah,
And I remember all my dad's like Guns N' Roses tapes and like Kiss and man, everything. My dad had everything. My dad
yeah.
introduced me to some really good music. Yeah,
Yeah, but then I think
definitely.
I started listening to actually Dave Matthews.
Oh yeah, I love Dave
And,
Matthews.
and I mean, not now, like years before, because when I, like I said, when I was married, because we went to go and see him, and it's my first time seeing him. I was like, all right, fine, we went to like Jersey or something, and we saw him like Camden Yards, and it was awesome. It was just like I had a great time. I'm like, hey, let's put that on the radio, and she goes, wait, what? Not gonna play no like crazy. I'm like, yeah, I'm not okay. And you know and even though I know I don't understand the lyrics, from not Dave Matthews, but like the music I listen to, but it has a
Yeah,
good beat.
I love
But
it. Yeah,
it's good. Get your mind like soothing, I guess, like halls. I
yeah.
don't know.
That, and even reggae. I love reggae music. It's Rastafari music.
uh
I get that too. That's chill.
I there, yeah, I got something in common with the reggae stuff, because actually I got a tattoo of like Bob Marley's album
Oh
cover,
really?
which I didn't even know I did.
Yeah.
Me and the tattoo artist is like, hold on, maybe I can show it out here. You see that?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we started doing that whole thing, and I like, because I'm a Leo, and I was like,
Me
all
too.
right, yeah,
Leos. Leos in the house.
yeah, shout out.
Yeah.
But so then I got that because I like, not lions actually, and then they had like the crown and the broken heart.
Yeah.
Obviously this is like way after what I was talking about before. And then the jewels, I figured, okay, there's my nieces and there's my nephews, and each one is like a jewel kind of thing. And there's a little sentimental kind of thing, I guess. But then all of a sudden there's someone came in and like, hey, nice Bob Marley cover. And I'm like, me and the tattoo artist was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which at
Funny.
that which at that point, there was another instance of presence, if you will, of we call at the tattoo shop on the Friday the 13th, no less.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, well, I was getting the I know I'm talking way too much. I'm like, like, I'm sorry to like, put in this, like, I should have
That's
you
all
go
good.
and talk more shit, jeez.
No, you're fine.
I mean, I feel like I can like open up and tell you pretty much like everything as it is, but
That's what usually happens.
yeah,
People, no, for real, like people talk to me and it's just like that's just how it is for me.
yeah.
That's why I'm here. I'm here to help people,
I
you
mean,
know?
that's how I feel. It's like everybody, I could talk to anybody, and it's just like funny. It's like I'll talk to what I just met, like, say, the guy like that day, like 5 minutes before, and we're like best friends. Like he'll come by and like, hey, what's going on? Hey, how you doing? Like that
Yeah.
kind of shit.
That's
And
the essence of a true light worker. They call them light workers. We're here to, like I was telling you, I may hear, see, and feel things.
yeah,
You just have that in you to be like very empathic with people, like connecting with them like that.
yeah.
That not a lot of people can do that.
I don't know. It's like, even my dad, I think, was doing that. We could like he'll talk to whoever. Like he used to deliver like parts when he used to retire, and he delivered parts to like other like auto places, and he'll just talk and get like good deals and this and that. And
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
at that point I thought maybe he was like a con artist at first, but I don't know. No, but he just likes talking to people as it is. And
Yeah.
so it's like, everybody's like, you're a people person. I'm like, yeah, well, I'll talk to anybody, person that's blind, person this, that, it's what it is,
It's like you talk to a person and you can get them, right? You get their
yeah.
personality. You know how to vibe with them. Not a lot of people are like that.
It's like
Yeah.
when you're a kid and you're going, like, if you're in a, I'm not gonna say like a bad neighborhood or anything, but if you were like in a high school, and everybody has a clique, you know, and I would go and hang out with the other. I'm trying to say this without being not. Well, there's like, I have a friend of mine. We call it, he's black,
Mhm.
so then I'll go and hang out with him and his friends, and they're like, well, why is this guy with us? He's a white guy. And I'm like, well,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah,
I would,
you
and then
yeah.
I know like all like did the hand things, like the handshakes and what that we used to do back in the day. And
Yeah.
he's like,
Yeah.
holy shit, he knows it. And I'm like, yeah. So I go and hang out with anybody, Spanish people. You know, I had crowd like part the ways because they thought I was a cop. You know, it was just like one of those. But what I said, music. Oh, I want to talk about MTV. You remember MTV, right?
Uh, back when it was MTV. Right now, I don't know what the fuck it is. MTV was the shit
Exactly.
back then. It was the best.
Exactly. That's what I'm
It
saying.
was the
Because I
best.
was like, I was thinking of this when when we had to push this back at like at 6, and I'm like I'm driving around and I'm like trying to figure out some more stuff to say, and I'm like MTV, and I'm like
Ah,
MTV
I
now is
miss
like
it.
multiple tension videos or whatever, because everything's all drama shit.
Really, I didn't even know they play videos. I thought it was just like reality TV. I
No,
don't
no,
know.
no. Now it's reality TV, but back then
Oh, okay. Back
it
then,
was,
no. Yeah.
yeah.
Oops, sorry. My battery's going low. I'm sorry.
Oh, well,
Okay,
we'll
there.
cut,
Sorry.
we'll cut this soon. Yeah, we'll cut this soon.
But
Um,
no, yeah. Do you remember? I mean, when they would have like their spring break, you know,
I
episode.
love
That
that.
was so dope. And then like, the videos are so cool because like it was like they built you up to like a new video release of like remember Eminem or something, and it was like so dope. It just like and
Yeah,
TRL.
the TRL. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was trying to remember. That those letters, and then you had and Headbangers Ball, which I've been trying to get that show back on the air. I'm like, listen,
Yes, yes, right. Oh my god.
I'm like, that was the shit. And then they were like, oh, we're gonna put this on MTV too. And I'm like, the
Do
fuck is
you remember that show Fear on
that?
MTV?
Yeah.
They would send the celebrities out to like haunted places.
Oh
That
yeah.
was really
Oh my god, I love that they had those like camera that sits in front of you and they walk around.
yeah, that was so cool. I
Especially
used to love it.
they had to bury somebody in like a coffin to get
Yes,
like, and
yes.
they're in there, they're in their room going like, what the fuck? Like I
Yeah,
wanted to do that. I was like, oh shit, I could do that. No problem.
hell no. That's one thing that scares me. Tight spaces. I'm claustrophobic, man. I would die. I would die.
Actually, there was a friends of mine that sell jewelry. You would love this. Actually, we call it like, I don't know if you can see it or not, but you see that?
Oh, that's badass. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
love that.
like I'll later on we call it. I'll give you the link, or I'll put it on the YouTube
Okay.
thing. But we call it like I'll give you the link beforehand. Um, they sell jewelry like any kind of style like this or whatever you think of. That my friend can be able to find it anywhere, and decent price, and they got an online site and everything else. Um, but he also, my friend, I know him for like 30 years. He sells like swords and knives and
That's
tasers,
so cool.
and and again, he has like the same site as she does. You click one thing, and it goes to his site. You click it again, it goes back to her site.
Oh,
So,
cool.
but they have like this like thing of I don't know what I went with this for. uh yeah, but we call it, they sell like a whole bunch of like different jewelry stuff and everything else. But we used to like go and listen like, and we go and watch MTV and all that. And then they had like the beach thing, and all of a sudden they're like, what the hell are they doing? It's like, yeah, the live acts, they had Club MTV.
Yeah, it was.
What was the other thing? They had the Headbangers Ball. Like I said, I've been bragging. I'm like, listen, we got to bring this back,
I
and
wish, man. I wish. But now, I think people look after like royalties, like they
yeah,
rerun stuff and everything. I don't think that they could. I don't know. I would
I
love
don't
to.
know, it is what it is, and
Yeah.
but it's like nowadays, like all kids can just be able to do is like look on their phone.
Oh my
They don't
God.
even look at TV anymore. They're playing, games, which is fine. I mean, I play video games too, but
Yeah.
they just do it like nonstop. Like they can't even go outside. Like days like now where it's like 60 something, and
Yeah,
it's just
I
so
know
like that.
what you're saying. It's like back then things were good, just like you experienced life more,
It seems like
That's
you're
what
outside right now, aren't you?
No, I'm actually inside. What keeps happening is the light keeps changing because there's a thunderstorm happening right now. So it's like
Oh,
it's
well,
passing by, it's moving through.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm surprised you didn't hear the thunder. It was really loud.
Uh,
I
I'm
love it. I
surprised.
just
I thought you could be able to hear. We caught a person like hacking a lung outside, because smoking a cigarette. We got the windows
no,
open in here. It's like I'm like, okay, have known.
no.
Yeah, I believe me. I was in that same state too. I used to smoke cigarettes for like so many years, and I know how they go through. But
Yeah,
so yeah, but with MTV, hopefully they come back. Come on, MTV, bring it back. Get some, get your
I
shit together.
know.
Get
That'd
your
be
shit
so
together.
cool.
Get rid of the trauma shit.
I love that.
That's if he's gonna. That's if MTV is gonna listen to my podcast anyway. But um, okay, so I guess because on your phone to shut off or anything. So tell us, tell anybody. I mean everybody. I'm sorry, like where you're gonna be at, where they can find
Yeah.
you, where.
Okay. So I'm on, my podcast is available on any podcast platform. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, you name it. I have my website, so you can go to www.lifeparanormalwiththee.com, and that has like all my recent episodes, a link to my merchandise store. So I have some really sick stuff in my merchandise store. I have one of my friends is a hell of a good artist, and she draws like all horror, stuff. Her
Oh,
her graphics are amazing. So she designed my logo, that zombie logo I have
yeah, yeah.
with the pinup with her, podcast microphone. She
Oh,
did all
by the
that.
way,
She's amazing.
by the way.
Oh, cool.
So
Dude, that's awesome.
I went to. Well, I mean, no, keep on going, keep on. I'll tell you in a little bit.
Oh, okay. So no, yeah. So you can find links to my merchandise store there, and I'm on Twitter. So like the Life Paranormal on Twitter. Just interact with me. You can DM me. If you have any other personal stories that you want to share with me, can be on the show. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
And everybody knows where I'm at somewhere. I'm on at podcast Tattoo Squid, Tattoo Squid dot podcast on Instagram, Tattoo Squid podcast on YouTube. We'll see on TikTok. Same
Oh,
name. Believe
you're
me, I
on
got some
TikTok.
weird
I didn't know
videos
that.
on that one. Huh? You haven't done TikTok yet?
Everyone's telling me to do one, but I'm like, I don't know. I'm so lazy when it comes to social media. I try so hard to like. I think I have hundreds and hundreds worth of messages to get back to on Twitter that I haven't gone through. So,
I'm glad you got through to me. So there you go.
oh yeah,
and also cheap seats reviews you did as well. It's like
yeah, that was fun, dude. That was fun.
So yeah, I would love to go and do this again. Because
Yeah, let's keep. Yeah, whenever, just invite me back. I'm down. Totally.
yeah. Or same here, same here with myself. So if you want like somebody to, talk about whatever on yours,
Yeah,
I'm
I want
game.
to get into some of your experience because I just feel like there's some more that I picked up on that I want to talk about too.
Okay, yeah, you go and ask me questions. I'm not making fun of it, but I'll bring in. We call it the lever couch, and and then I'll just lay there. I'm like, okay, this is what goes on, and no, but that's what I do. I joke and all that. So
Oh, sorry about that.
no, that's okay. That's okay. All right. So
It's about to die.
okay, everybody, follow V Life Paranormal at V, and follow Tattoo Squid podcast. Just go to the links, and you'll see it on Twitter and everything else, and YouTube. All right, V. I'll talk to you in a
Yay.
little bit. All right, we shut down
Awesome.
here. Bye, folks.